All right. So what you're looking at right now is the exact system that's actually helping you capture more deals while the competitors are simply still checking the voicemail. And what I mean by this is that most agents are losing 80% of their leads because they can't respond fast. But what if I told you there was a way to respond to every lead in under 2 minutes and qualify them and basically help you book appointments while you sleep essentially, which is the dream outcome that we all want in this case. So basically today I'm basically just going to explain to you this whole military AI system essentially and what it is and what it entitles and kind of go. This is going to be a part 1, part 2 series where part 1 is me essentially just explaining the whole system rundown. And then part 2 is going to be me and essentially building out this system to kind of show you brick by brick and case by case to kind of see how you can implement it into your own real estate business as well too. All right, so let's get right into it. So these are common problems that realtors face within, honestly, these are common problems within any business, but these are particular within realtors. So one of them is simply slow lead follow-up. So by the time you basically, call back, talk to 3 other agents or miss inbound calls essentially for your prospects. So basically this is happening while you're in showings and they're simply calling your competitors because you didn't get back to them in this case. Another one is simply no instant replies. So leads, especially within 2025, expect responses immediately within this day and age. So on top of that too, you also do get in this hassle or boat where a lot of the times I do find that a lot of my clients usually have leads that are just unqualified, where they're just kind of tire kickers in this case. So I think having some sort of instant reply system, whether that's in your Instagram or any platform that you use that can kind of respond to leads, that can kind of talk to them and answer general questions to be able to help filter out which ones are actually serious and which ones are actually just looking around, essentially this case. On top of that, this also just mitigates the whole phone tag situation as well too. So once you have a sort of instant response system within your dedicated, outreach platform, this helps in a lot of that process as well too. So, and honestly, this is exactly why 90% of agents are still stuck doing the same thing every single year in this case, and why they can't grow in terms of kind of being capped at what they're doing because they're not systematizing the operations efficient in this case. So this kind of then takes us to the Realtors AI system I kind of want to break down and just explain essentially thorough and just a little bit more in depth in terms of this context essentially. So as you can see, this Realtor AI system basically solves all 3 components. So the first one is essentially a voice AI agent embedded in place. This is going to handle inbound calls 24/7. It's going to answer questions, property information, schedule viewings, and it's going to save everything directly into your CRM in terms of the notes, prospects, their name, the information, so that way you at least have a good guideline as to who called you that was inbound. Because I know, especially with a lot of what my clients tell me, is that they get a lot of inbound calls. So it's good to have some sort of system embedded in place that can instantly take all those calls, scrape all the information, and then know exactly who called you and to be able to filter that out within your CRM. So that way you can at least get a good gauge in terms of prospects and getting qualified leads, I guess, into your system in this case. And as you can see, this is a simple rundown, kind of how this old agent is basically dedicating plates. So as you can see from here, this voice agent is essentially provides answers to these questions in terms of everything implemented. And this is the exact flow of the process that's embedded in place. Next is simply going to be a AI WhatsApp agent. Now, this doesn't have to be WhatsApp. It can be on any platform, whether that's through SMS or even Instagram and stuff like that, or even LinkedIn as well, and having some sort of LinkedIn agent embedded in place. We're just using WhatsApp just because some of my clients they do international business as well too. So I know that some of their clientele, they use WhatsApp because pretty much everyone else outside of the US uses WhatsApp. So we have an agent that we created embedded in place that helps in terms of that whole communication standpoint and pipeline as well too. So as you can see, this agent is essentially going to follow up with leads instantly. It's going to send property info, keep leads warm, and integrate with your Google Calendar for seamless booking as well too. So like I said, while you're on property showings or you're out and about doing what you got to do, you can simply have this one embedded agent in place that's going to do all the nurturing for your prospects as well too, and answering any common questions, objections, and then being able to, again, just book an appointment. That's his main job and its main goal as well too in this case. So like I said, and a third part within this WhatsApp agent as well too is that has a follow-up system. So basically this system just ensures that no leads are ever forgotten. The systematic email sequence that basically converts for weeks. And honestly, the key here is that this isn't 3 separate tools. This is basically one integrated system altogether. So these are not 3 individually, they are 3 separate components, but these all kind of talk to each other and cooperate with each other in one unique facilitated system that helps with this whole process essentially. Like I said, so it's an integrated system that feeds each component to the next essentially. So now that I basically explained each part of the system in terms of this sequence as well too, and the whole follow-up sequences where essentially it's going to send relevant property info. It's going to then basically send it in a human-like tone as well too within a certain time frame and format. And then it's going to continue a certain sequence. So like as you can see, 7 days, 14 days, and then last message is going to be a month, depending on how you want the sequences to essentially be dedicated. So now that basically I've broken down everything in terms of this flow and workflow, let's now go through this and kind of run it like a scenario essentially in this case, just to give you a good breakdown structure into how this all operated together. So voice AI breakdown. So let's start with the voice agent. So when someone essentially calls your phone, it's going to answer in under 2 rings, customer greeting. It's going to provide detailed property information from your listening, depending on where that, I guess, call is coming from essentially, depending on the way that we approach and implement this voice agent. From there, it's going to try to do its best to simply just scrape the data and information from the potential lead or prospect, simply schedule viewings directly to your calendar. It's then going to capture all the lead data into your CRM automatically, just like what I mentioned before. And it's going to send follow-up emails and confirming the viewings as well too, basically in terms of the listing or anything like that. The prospect then thinks they're talking to your personal assistant, because we do have a lot of good voice AI integrated in place, like Alerting Labs and stuff like that in the back end. So a lot of the times prospects really won't know, just because I think people have been used to just picking up the phone and hearing receptionists as well too. So we've been able to kind of craft a system where prospects really won't know essentially if they're talking to an AI voice agent or not. So this is really good in that people would just think that it's your personal assistant, but in reality it's just the AI. It's 24/7 essentially. Now we then go to the WhatsApp agent breakdown. So essentially after every call, it's automatically going to send the property detail to the WhatsApp agent. Like I said, this doesn't have to be the WhatsApp agent itself. It can be either your SMS sequences within the contacts you have on your phone, or it can be through Instagram DM or LinkedIn as well too, just depending on the whole platform in which you're contacting your prospects. Like I said, and essentially once it sends this, it's going to follow up with the 24 hours to maintain engagement. It's going to basically facilitate easy scheduling through chat. It's going to keep leads warm with market updates. It's going to sync everything within the calendar as well. And this creates multiple touch points without you even lifting the finger, essentially in this case. Now, the final breakdown of this will simply be the follow-up system break. So finally, the follow-up system assures that long-term nurturing in this case. So this is going to send emails at strategic intervals. It's going to continue systematic follow-up for weeks. It's going to provide market insight and property alerts, and it's going to re-engage basically cold leads automatically in this case. So simply checking up on leads that haven't responded, sending them either market info, related data in the current market conditions, just pretty much honestly keeping up top of funnel and just providing value towards your prospects essentially. So like I said, most agents pretty much only follow up once or twice, just because when you're dealing with so many prospects, it's kind of hard to keep track of everything. So having a dedicated system like this helps with this process. So the system's going to follow up until, they're either ready to buy or sell. With this long-term follow-up system, nurture sequence basically set it in place. Now the results, so when you implement this complete system, your response time is going to drop from hours to seconds. So you're going to be on top of mind, and you don't have to worry about, have to, catch up on this call, catch up on this lead. Everything is pretty much all synced accordingly to everything that's being operated. Leads to appointment conversions is basically going to increase by 300%, and you capture deals while your competitors are essentially still stuck in traffic in this case. In this case, the whole goal is to basically kind of have a systematized business that allows essentially your real estate business to run 24/7 without you having to answer the phone or do mundane or additional tasks. Even if you do have like a dedicated, VA or, technical coordinator in this case, you can even send, I guess, the additional information, or even like the additional information that the voice agent basically scraped onto your CRM. You could even send that to your technical coordinator or your VA that can then do those tasks as well too. So that way, everyone is essentially operating at high efficiency and being able to do tasks that are actually going to create a bigger outcome essentially in this case. While all the mundane and tasks that can be automated essentially, or admin tasks, is all kind of taken care of. So the whole team just operates congruently in doing high productive tasks in this case. Like I said, every lead gets professionalized consistent follow-up, and this is how we essentially help top 1% agents dominate the market with territory in this case. So like I said, there is going to be a part 2 series, and me kind of potentially a part 2 series depending on, I guess if you guys kind of like this type of content and stuff like that. So potentially there might not be, there could be, in terms of like a full system breakdown and how I go about building out these systems and stuff like that, and how it's implemented in place, especially within real estate as well. Showing you essentially the actual implementation, the exact platforms we use, how we set up each component with the specific scripts and workflows that essentially help convert in this case. So if you want this entire system for you, including the AI setup and lead management or professional calling services, you can click the link below to actually schedule a strategy call where you either talk to me or one of our growth consultants who basically have worked with a whole bunch of our clients that we have now or agents in the past to see if this is the right fit and see if you're actually going to implement this for your business, for your real estate business, essentially. So until then, take care. I hope this was valuable and see you on your next, man.